Hello and good morning. Welcome to Matcha Mornings with Diane. I am your host, Diane. I am a dancer, performing artist based in New York City, and welcome to my podcast where I talk about all things mindfulness, life in New York as a performing artist, creativity, art, and everything in between. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my podcast. Happy December. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that it's already December. The year is about to end. Somehow it feels so surreal that we're already at the end of the year, but at the same time, I just feel like a lot of things have happened, and it's really been a pretty long year. I don't know, it's always that paradox, I guess, that, it feels like it's been a stretch of a year, but at the same time, a lot of things have happened. And so everything has just felt like a whirlwind, and everything just felt like it all happened so quickly. But yeah, here we are. I am just so excited to record this episode and just like spend some time to reflect. I honestly did not think that I would be so consistent with this, but I've been having so much fun just like being able to speak freely, but also hopefully connecting with some people out there. I am truly grateful too for the support that I have been receiving for this. I genuinely just want to be able to connect and just have these conversations with people, and I know that it's such an interesting time now to just be able to have a platform where it can reach so many people. You just don't know who you're reaching. And for me, that's just so fascinating. But yeah, I mean, it's been a fun one too, like for me to just be able to creatively pour myself into something different, something that I've never really done before. Podcasting, or, like being able to speak this freely to a camera is still a new thing to me. Like, I know that I've already filmed, how many episodes has it been? 16 episodes. Oh my goodness. 16 episodes. But yeah, it's been a great journey. And I know that I definitely just want to see where this all goes. And, I feel like there's something great that will come out of this. And I'm really hoping that I get to connect with more people and just be able to build a community, because I think I'm not the only one that craves community and being a part of a village, because life is already tough. Life is already tough, and I feel like most of the time we take it so seriously. I know that I need that reminder every now and then to not take it so seriously sometimes. But yeah, I think being able to have that community, to have that village, definitely just shapes your life in such a beautiful way. And it's such a lovely reminder of just how beautiful life is, just how beautiful it is to be able to connect with so many different individuals, and being able to embrace our uniqueness, our individuality, but at the same time also knowing that we are all one. We are all connected in some way. We are all the same too. So yeah, just like embracing that duality. I think more than anything too, this platform, being able to have this podcast, has definitely shaped my purpose just a little more, refined it a little more, because I do know that I want to create something that's so much bigger than just me, so much bigger than, just being able to dance and being able to just like have an outlet. I really just feel this deep calling to be able to serve. I don't know yet how that's going to look like. I am also just like allowing myself to discover what that's going to look like. I am allowing myself to just be guided to how that's going to look like. But I know that being able to have this platform is definitely a big part of that journey of being able to fulfill my purpose and to be able to serve the greater good. And I know that I will always feel so deeply too for people who definitely just don't know where they're heading, people who are so creative but do not know where to start, people who probably feel like it's, yeah, it is a scary journey. And, like things are so uncertain, but I think there's so much beauty too when we learn how to lean into that uncertainty because life will only continue to surprise us. And, I think for me, that's a big part of my reflection. And one of the things that I am so proud of now is just how comfortable I'm feeling with uncertainty. Like, of course, it's not the same every day. And I feel like as life goes on, it will only get tougher. But I do know for a fact that my relationship with uncertainty at this point is already so different from when the year just started. And I know that a lot of that had to do with just like allowing myself to sit with the discomfort, allow myself to lean into the uncomfortable, and to also leave behind the identity, the patterns that I was operating from in order for me to be able to move forward and to create the life that I truly want for myself. As they say, like, you growing requires you to let go of identities that you have been operating from. And it's so normal as human beings to, of course, want to hold on to those identities and patterns because it feels safe. And again, like there's nothing wrong with that because that is a big part of the human experience. It is a part of, like making sure that we survive. That is a big part of it. Like we all have our egos. It's what keeps us safe. I'm not saying completely kill the ego because the ego, again, like keeps us safe. But at the same time, it's so important to also like slow down and really learn how to tune into your intuition and into your heart space, especially when it feels like something within you is calling you. I know for a fact that for me, a lot of that just manifests in my body. I am so aware of my body that I feel like when I'm feeling something chronically, like whether that's some sort of ache or pain, that is normally a signal for me to actually check in, to tune in, and to slow down. I know that it's not a perfect journey. Like, it will never be perfect. I mean, I'm also trying to, again, let go of that idea that I have to do things perfectly. I also had to heal, again, like my healing and fixing addiction, feeling like I was some sort of project that needed to be fixed. A big part of the journey is also like learning how to slow down so that I can really tune into what my intuition is telling me. That is something that I had to go through again this year, and it felt like a pretty long period, but looking back now, actually it wasn't that long. And I'm also just like grateful that learning to slow down again and really tune into my intuition has also allowed me to get clearer on what it is that I truly want and to, again, show up as my most authentic self, and also learning how to show up without feeling like I have to please people, without feeling like I have to gain the approval of someone. I think once you get into like that proving disposition, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. As an artist too, I have learned that it is doing like my craft a disservice if I don't allow myself to actually be human first. That is like one of the things that I had to remember this year, is to allow myself to be human again, because I know that it's so easy to fall into this trap that you have to be so freaking obsessed with your craft in order to be successful. And yes, like maybe there are certain periods where you will really be like so obsessed, where you will really be pouring all of yourself into your craft and what it is that you're creating. And that's such a beautiful thing. But at the same time, we need to have those moments and those seasons when we just like humble ourselves and allow ourselves to be human, because we are not machines. We are not machines, we're human. And remembering that having human experiences, having our humanity, having those experiences outside of what we do and outside of our craft can only enrich what we create. I'm at that point already this year too, where I'm allowing myself to slow down, and I am just like so happy to be able to experience what it's like to just be human again, where I'm not so attached to who I am as an artist and what I do, and allowing myself to really just follow my curiosity, follow my intuition, and not take everything so seriously. Allowing my nervous system to calm down a little and remember that, life is just gonna ebb and flow. And no matter what, even if I just like slow down a little, I'm not gonna be left behind. I think a big part of what I had to learn this year too, and well, I guess just really remember, is that yes, there are so many things that I can control, but I'm not the only one who's in control. And as someone who's had a pretty complicated relationship with control, someone who's like very type A and such a perfectionist, I know that most of the time I really just like have to allow myself to surrender. And I think when I allow myself to surrender too, things just like really flow so easily. I'm not saying that life is without its challenges. Of course, like things still get challenging. But I feel like you get to that point where things aren't that serious anymore. And that's a great thing too. Sometimes we make a big deal out of things that actually won't even matter in the next week, in the next month, or even the next year. And for me, I think a good reference point is just like being able to look back at my experiences where things did not work out like as I had planned. And, like as much as I wanted things to work out, things not working out actually worked out for me. And my life only got better being able to see that, oh yeah, like this not working out for me is actually something that worked out for me, because I wouldn't be where I am if everything that I planned to a T actually ended up happening. Remembering that I am co-creating with the people around me and with the universe or whatever higher being I believe in or you believe in. I'm just really like embracing all the growth that has happened this year. I just feel really good and really content with where I'm at, and I feel like this is also like such a wonderful time of the year to really reflect and be content with what we've already accomplished, because sometimes we just get so caught up in the striving that we forget what we've already accomplished. A big part of me is still in disbelief that I was also able to produce a dance showcase this year on top of like performing and, like giving myself those opportunities to be able to perform and showcase my talent and my love for dance. I just was able to create something new, to be able to dabble in something different, and it was such a fulfilling experience because I was able to just like really allowed me to be caught up in this process that was obviously like so messy, but beautiful things like came out of it. And it reminded me that life isn't about doing it perfectly, but life isn't about doing it the most logical way. And it's truly about just living and having faith and knowing that whatever we do, we are always like being brought to where we're meant to be. creating that showcase, I poured like so much of my love and my energy into it. And it was just really fulfilling to be able to create that space for so many artists, for so many dancers, and not just for myself. And, being able to witness just like how amazing and beautiful it is to witness other artists just get so creative and also just like be so enamored by the whole process, and really also just like allowing themselves to play. Play is also such an important part of being an artist and being a human being. Whatever our job is, like play is such an important part, because I feel like play relieves us of the pressure, because when there's too much pressure, I feel like we can't truly like listen to what our soul wants, what our heart wants. Being able to create from a place with less pressure, like there's so much beauty that comes out of that. I am a firm believer that the most beautiful things that you create actually come from play. I know that for myself, because there were many times when I pressured myself and forced myself into, say, writing a story or writing a screenplay. And most of the time, like those screenplays just did not land with anyone, not even myself. And I think it's because of that pressure. But when I, had that moment of being like, you know what, like let me get rid of all of like the quote unquote the right things. Let me just like not think about the structure or feeling like I have to do this the right way. Like let me just write. Let me get into that flow state. And, I can just like refine it after. And oh my goodness, like most of the time when I just like let go of that pressure, when I get into like this state of play and just flow, beautiful things just like come out of it. Because yeah, like that's when my intuition just gets to lead, and I don't let my mind be the one that takes control over what it is that I'm trying to create. It always just like surprises me just how easy it can be when we just like allow things to be easy, when we invite ease in and not always identify or feel like we have to struggle to get somewhere, to create something. Because quite honestly, it is our birthright to be able to experience ease. People are trying to achieve success because it is actually the feeling that we want. It is the feeling. It is the feeling. Obviously it's nice to have these material things. It's nice to have these accomplishments, but ultimately it is a feeling. It is a feeling. And I think for me, when I allow myself to just really tap into what I feel and not get so caught up with the result and how that's going to look like, and also just like how the process should be, like wonderful things just like really happen. That's also just a big part of this year for me, being 28. And as they say, like in astrology, the 27th and the 28th year, maybe even early into your 29th year, like you have this Saturn return. And what that does is it really pushes you to outgrow a part of yourself and somehow create this new identity in order to be able to fulfill your dharma or your purpose. Allowing yourself to really go through the changes, allowing yourself to break open and to honestly just be led in many different directions, and being okay with the fact that it will feel like there is no ground underneath you. It just feels like it's constantly moving. And heck, did I feel that. I felt that so much this year. It just felt like every single thing in my life was changing. Of course, that was exhausting, but I know that the reward is going to be so great. And I'm already starting to feel those things. I'm starting to feel pretty calm in who I am and who I'm becoming. And I also have to thank past me, the me at the beginning of this year, for just surrendering to this process and surrendering to this journey of really just like peeling back layers of myself and also just like letting go of the things that served me then, but no longer will be serving me in this path moving forward. This is actually going to be my last episode for the year and for the season. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it's been 16 episodes, but I have had so much fun doing this. It has been such a wonderful journey. I will be taking a hiatus for a few weeks, but yeah, season 2 coming in 2026. And I don't have anything planned for it yet because, again, I feel like this is a platform for me to just like really get into that flow and see what people want to connect with. For sure, like there is a part of me that finally wants to also bring in some guests. But yeah, we shall see. We shall see. I mean, if you guys have any suggestions, if you guys have any guests who you think I should bring on the show, like who would be such an amazing addition and someone that I can have an amazing conversation with on this podcast, like I would absolutely love to hear that. If there's like anything that you want me to talk about, any topics that you feel inspired by, I am so open to that. Like just leave a comment below, DM me on my Instagram, which I have linked on the description. But yeah, I'm just so grateful. I'm just sitting here with so much love and gratitude and awe for the year that 2025 has been. I know that it has been a difficult year for everyone. It's not just me, but I have a good feeling about 2026. I know that life has looked maybe a little shitty this year, but as they say, things have to get messy first, before beautiful things happen. It's just a part of life. When we allow ourselves to lean into that mess, it's just like there's no way that we are not being led to something beautiful. And I'm a firm believer in that. Something that I wanted to share before I end this episode, because I have talked a lot about this in my previous episodes, and even creating this platform, this podcast has also like taught me so much about this as a recovering perfectionist and type A creative. I was actually eavesdropping. I wasn't listening because if you know me, I'm actually not religious. Although I grew up in a religious household, I grew up Catholic, and this is something that I think my family is still trying to accept that, I am not that religious anymore. But yeah, like in many ways, I still believe in something bigger than me. And I just feel like, being spiritual in some way and like having that relationship with a higher being is more than enough. Like there's no need to actually restrict myself to man-made rituals, because that relationship is so personal. I don't think it's necessary to follow all of like these structures that have been made by the church and thinking that, this is the only way for me to have a relationship with the higher being, because quite frankly, we are all co-creating with the universe. Some of us are just probably not so conscious of it, but we all are being guided, and yeah, for me, that's more than enough. But my dad was actually just here almost 2 weeks ago. He was visiting me, and he's Christian. So he tuned into YouTube and he was listening to a sermon. And honestly, that was actually like the most relatable like sermon that I have ever heard in my life. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this is actually like one of those things that no matter what religion you practice or whether you practice a religion or not, this is actually like gold, because the pastor was talking about like the law and having faith and how basically the law is made for us to follow, right? But at the same time, it's impossible, as we have seen, even in the Bible, as they said, like, you see, like, there are so many references, and, the people in the Bible have also, like, gone through the most human journeys. And, even if we made all of these rules, like, it's just impossible to be able to follow them. And he really said this perfectly. I think that is the point to like having these laws and not following them perfectly is a part of living. It is a part of living with purpose because as humans, we were made not to be perfect. And truly, the only thing to have the most amazing, the most fulfilling life, to live a life with purpose, is to actually have faith. Not by following the law, but having faith. Because, yeah, like it's true. If you think about it, like even religion is man made. All of these laws were man made. And, like I don't know if, like maybe some of these people were really called by the Lord or whatever higher being to create these laws. But even with these laws, we're not meant to pressure ourselves to follow them to a T and judge ourselves or even feel like we have to punish ourselves because we made a mistake. Like, I am learning that too. I have to remind myself of that. Perfectionism will rob you of your faith because, again, we're not meant to do it alone. And so, yeah, like faith always precedes the law and will be above the law, in terms of creating a life. Of course, like I'm not saying, like that we should live in a world of lawlessness because laws are meant to give us some structure or else, like things will be so unorderly. Like I truly believe that we need that duality. There's no need to pressure ourselves to do it so perfectly. We were meant to live a little more. And that goes back to the saying of really just like learning how to not take life so seriously all the time. And being able to find those moments, to create those moments where you savor the simple pleasures of life. And remembering that you don't have to do all of these grand things or achieve all of these grand things in order to be able to enjoy the pleasures and the magic of life, right? A lot of people talk about this now with law of attraction, right? Is, when you're already abundant, you're only attracting more of that. And I think when we allow ourselves to just be driven by faith, like nothing can go wrong. And even if things feel like and seem like they're going wrong, they are actually working out for you. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode and enjoyed some of these episodes that I have put out in the past year. I'm just like really grateful that even though there's probably just like only a few of you for even subscribing, for even taking the time to listen to these episodes. Like I'm so grateful and I just have so much love. I have so much love for you guys because it means the world to me. And I am hoping that in some ways my episodes have resonated with you and maybe have also made you think a little deeper and also feel seen. I think for me, it's just a big part of like having this podcast is for me being able to serve and make someone feel seen because I know what it's like to not feel seen and to be misunderstood. I think I know that my path as a multi-hyphenate, as a creative, I really just have a lot of those moments that, it is a challenging journey to really be able to carve a path that is your own. But I am here to tell you that you are not alone, that a lot of people are also dealing with the same thing. A lot of people are also taking the risk to really follow a path that is truly theirs. But it is so rewarding. It is so rewarding. And I truly believe that this path is so fun and this path is so enjoyable because we allow ourselves to have those moments and those periods where our relationship with uncertainty is in a good place, and we know that we are just being led to where we're meant to be. We are being led to the right opportunities and to the right people. I hope that you guys had a lovely 2025. I hope that this year has offered you so much growth, so much love, a lot of courage, and a lot of joy. And I am hoping that 2026 will only be greater. I truly believe that 2026 I truly believe that 2026 will be so much greater, and I know that a lot of us, including myself, just want 2025 to end already because it has been a roller coaster of a year, but I have a good feeling about 2026. We were just, pushed to shed a lot of old patterns and identities in 2025, and so we can begin anew in 2026 and embark on an amazing journey ahead. So yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support, and I hope to see you in the next season.